This is Mary Kay from Country Music Matters, and we welcome Diana Upton-Hill. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You've been singing at the age of 3. What led to all this? Where are you at now?
Oh gosh, my family just has always been huge into appreciating music, and my dad actually performed. He had rock bands and country bands. They'd play out, just the local bar scene, but he took me from the age of 3. I would be bar hopping with my dad on the weekends while they, played 4-hour shows into the wee hours of the morning, and I caught the bug then, and my parents were both very encouraging with school music, so I did band and choir, and learned to read music. It was really important to my dad that I know how to read the notes on the page because he didn't know how to read them himself. So, they were just always very supportive, and that's how it all got started.
Has it always been country music for you?
Not really. Country music has always been a part of my life, for sure. My grandparents all listened to country music, and folk music has been a really big part of our family, and rock music too, a lot. I honestly grew up listening to pop music. I mean, I thought if it wasn't on the pop station, I didn't want to hear it. And then I kind of grew to like rock, and then I really grew to like rock. And then folk came along, I really liked that. And then I finally kind of wrapped my head around country. And now I love it. Obviously, I love it because it's what I'm doing, right? But I love doing musical theater as well. I was trained classically and have a strong background with Broadway music and touring productions of musical theater.
How did your debut single, Do Love Well, come about?
It's a really special song for me because my friend Rowdy Mitch Gowdy, don't know if you've heard of him. Yes. He is rowdy. He actually came to me one day and he asked if he could write me a song. And I said, well, of course, he's a great songwriter. I love his lyrics. I love his melodic lines. He does really cool, interesting things. And so he asked me, if you only have one song to share with the world, what would you want to say with your one song? And that was him kind of fishing to, see what my vibe would be and what he should write for me. And I said a million things, frankly. I said so many things. And then I kept coming back, though, to the one message that I wanted to put out in the world is love. Love one another. Love not only your spouse or your significant other or your mom or your dad, your kids, but to love your next door neighbor or the guy that you see on the street that you don't know. Give him a smile and you're going to get a lot of love in return. And the world would be so amazing if we just put more love out there. We get a lot more back.
How did you get into voiceover work?
I think that's another thing where my family's just always been involved dabbling in things. My stepdad actually has an at-home recording studio and has ever since I can remember, when I was about 5. And he did a lot of radio commercials and jingles and voiceover work. He has an amazing voice. And so I got interested in it then. And then when I was in high school, I was just approached by a local studio to do some jingles and radio work. And I really love it. I think it's super fun. And, to think about how do you capture something just with your voice? How do you make the sound and the sentiment come through when somebody can't see the expression on your face or your eyes, So it's pretty fun work.
So your album, Do Love Well, how did Brian White get in the picture?
Oh, he called me. No, Brian, actually, we have some, mutual connections here in Nashville, and I heard his project Shine, and great album. Phenomenal songs, of course, he wrote many, if not all. I know he has songwriting credit on them all. And I noticed that he had actually produced them. He had produced that album. And I didn't really know of Brian White, the producer. I knew of Brian White, the singer-songwriter, and loved him. He's always been one of my favorites. His voice is so great, and how he uses his voice is really phenomenal. And so when I realized he produced his album, I thought, maybe he could produce my album and he would really get me as a singer. It was important to me that my producer knew how to do vocals and how to capture the essence of a voice, because that's what I consider myself to be first and foremost, is a singer who brings songs to life. And so it was really important to me that somebody could capture that, and I think Brian did.
Do you write a lot of your own songs?
I write some. I don't write quite as much as some, many artists here in town. They write all their own material. For me, it's more about singing and like I said, bringing the song to life. That's where I feel like my strong suit is, and putting the emotion and the sentiment in it. Even though I didn't necessarily write it, I feel like I can capture it. And, there's a lot of songwriters who need people to sing their stuff because they're not necessarily singers themselves, So I try to kind of couple with people that need their songs brought to life. But I do write a few of my own pieces here and there when inspiration hits. But it's not my favorite thing to do. It's not what I live to do. You know what I mean? Some people just have to songwrite. But yeah, it's more of an inspiration moment for me.
And you have your new single out, Southern Gentleman. What does that song mean to you?
Well, first off, it's just a fun little boppy tune that is great to sing and dance to. It's good for all ages to listen to. That's important for me in all of my music, is that anybody from age 3 to 83, 93 can listen to it and get something good out of it, something positive. You don't have to turn it off because of the lyrics or the subject matter. But with Southern Gentleman, there's kind of a deeper meaning with sending a message out to the ladies, okay? That chivalry is not dead. You don't have to settle for anything less. You can find your Southern gentleman, or your gentleman. He doesn't have to be from the South. I married an Iowa boy, so no, I have no offense to the Northerners and the Midwesterners or East Coast or West Coast, but the South, just they really know how to capture that charm and that gentlemanly quality. So that's kind of what it's all about. So don't settle, ladies.
Other than your parents being influences and learning from them, what other artists have you learned from and have influenced you?
The first one that comes to mind would be Jewel. I love Jewel as a singer-songwriter and as an artist and storyteller. She's just so great, and I love her voice. And I know when I was developing my voice, in my teen years, I sang along to her albums just constantly. So I find myself every once in a while doing some of the same things Jewel would do. I don't yodel. I wish I could, but haven't learned. Maybe she'll teach me. Jewel, will you teach me? But definitely Jewel, Joni Mitchell, the folk artist, John Denver, Joan Baez. And then, if we backtrack, I listened to Madonna growing up. She was my idol. And it's kind of like one of those guilty pleasures. People are like, oh, don't admit that. But I think she's phenomenal, and what a performer, and she's still doing great things. So.
Is this your first CMA Fest?
This is my second. Yeah, this is fun. And did country radio seminar earlier this year too, which was really cool. And I'm in Nashville off and on and touring the countryside. And CMA Fest is really cool because you get to see the fans and meet everybody one-on-one. And I know I met a lot of people last year for the first time that I'm excited about seeing again this time, because they come back every year. Some people were telling me it was like their 50th CMA Fest, I'm like, how do you do that? You're not even 50 years old. But they come every year, and it's a tradition, and I think that's really special.
Would you move here?
Would I move here? Well, I feel like I'm here most of the time anyway. So, yeah, Nashville's a great place, and I'm one of those people that I see the beauty and the vibrancy wherever I'm at. So if I'm out in the countryside on, the coast somewhere, I just think it's the best place ever at that moment. And then if I'm in downtown Music City, well, this is the best place ever. And it's not like I'm just changing my mind. I really try to always look for those good, positive points and elements of a place. So I think I could definitely be happier here.
I think you live for the moment.
I do try to, yeah. I think that's the best way to be happy, right? Otherwise, you're always focusing on dwelling on the past or what's coming. So, yeah.
So what's the rest of the year look like for you?
Oh, gosh. I live for the moment. I didn't know. I know I've got a lot of tour dates coming up, fall fairs and festivals. I'm going to do my hometown Snake Alley Art Fair in Burlington, Iowa, coming up next weekend. I think it's on Father's Day, which is, my dad still lives up there, so I'm hoping he comes. Never know, he might be working. But yeah, a lot of fairs and festivals coming up for the whole summer and into the fall. I know I'm going to be in Baltimore and probably doing a little bit more radio promotion with promoting Southern Gentlemen too. So I could be on either coast at any given time, or the heart of the Midwest, or in Nashville.
So where can fans find anything out about you that they don't already know?
You mean in all of my talking today? I haven't divulged too much. Well, of course, I have a website, which is www.dianauptonhill.com. That's DianaUptonhill.com. And Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'm on there, Diana Upton Hill. maybe Diane Upton-Hill Music, probably on Facebook. And then I just added Snapchat. So that's kind of a big deal. I'm learning the ins and outs of that, and yeah, it actually is really fun. So just to capture that moment and share it with people. So hopefully people will come to my booth at CMA Fest and do some snaps. I have a special thing going on that has to do with photos. So have to come check it out.
Well, Diana, thanks so much for your time this week. I know it's busy. We appreciate it, and the best to you in your career.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.